All right, detailing community. It has been just shy of 2 weeks since we did our last update, and this one is probably going to be about the same. I assume we're going to have to do a water spot removal this time. As you can tell, we've got quite a bit of accumulation of water spots and bird poop. The birds were definitely considerate and made sure to spread their love equally amongst all the coatings. So anyway, as you can tell, I'm kind of thinking we're gonna have to do a water spot removal. It's only been about a month, but we've had an excessive amount of rain over the last 2 weeks, and it has really mucked up my car. So anyway, just to recap, we got DIY detail, the 8-year here. We have HCC by Undrdog here. It's kind of an interesting difference there. And then we have clean by pan. We have HCC here. And then we have DIY, HCC, and clean by pan. So let's go ahead and get into this. We will do our initial rinse. Take a look at how the hydrophobics are doing. I don't know if you guys can see. Initially, it definitely looks like HCC beads better with the dirt on it than clean by pan or DIY, or at least the sheeting aspect of it. DIY probably has the worst. But again, we haven't cleaned this, so kind of to be expected. And then we'll run down the side. Clean by pan is beating up very nice. Of course, we got a little bit of cloggage going on in the bottom rocker or area. That's kind of to be expected with a lot of coatings. To me, it looks like HCC drains just a little bit faster than clean by pan. Let me get pans a head start. Go over there and hit it with HCC last. And yeah, twice in a row, it looks like this one just sheets just a little bit better. And then we got DIY detail over here. This is gel coat here. And of course, this is just automotive paint. And remember, we have it on the plastics as well. So one of the things I'm really focused on with this coating in particular is its ability to self-clean, because it said it was self-cleaning. If it didn't say that on the package, I would not be looking for that quality. But as you can tell, DIY definitely gets a little bit of water stickage going on, and you saw that earlier. Compared to these two coatings, both of these two did not state that they're self-cleaning, but this one did. So I'm expecting a lot more out of that one. But anyway, back to the hood one more time. And let's go ahead and do a little scrubby scrub. And sometimes just a scrub is all that's needed to remove water spots. So we will see if that's the case this time. But again, I do live in Hawaii. We do have salt in the air like no place I've ever been before. It is absolutely insane out here in regards to the salt in the air. And that creates some of the worst water spots I've ever seen on any car, any place I've ever detailed. These things truly take a beating out here. And that's one reason why water spot removers sell so well in Hawaii, is because people just have to deal with getting these water spots off. So one thing you're going to notice, and this is pretty standard with HCC, is that you'll get a lot of separation going on, if you can see that there. And you can kind of tell that that is really only happening on HCC. We got maybe a little bit with pan right here, but it's certainly nowhere near what HCC is. Well, let's go ahead and do the rinse and see what happened with our water spots. All right, we got everything rinsed pretty well. Judging by the way the water is sticking on DIY, that tells me we're definitely going to have to do a water spot removal, at least on the hood. So there you have it. I think a wash got rid of a lot of the spots, which is to be expected and hoped for this young in the coating's life. Let me go ahead and hit the rest just quickly. And I do not do the best washing practices on purpose. You know, there's a method behind what part of the door you should wash first and all that kind of jazz. You know, some people like to work only the tops and do the entire vehicle before they come around and hit these bottom areas, because these bottom areas usually carry a lot of dirt and people don't want to scratch their cars. But in my case, I'm doing some testing, so I don't really mind doing it incorrectly. To me, this is more in line with how a regular DIY, you know, car washer would do it. Maybe they don't have the best washing practices or know-how. So you can tell, I don't know if you can see this, but there's all this dirt here. This is definitely not self-cleaning. So I am gonna penalize DIY for that one, because if you're going to list self-cleaning on your product, I kind of think it should self-clean. And I don't think that you should have to explain to somebody why it's not, or that there's a level of dirt that where it won't work, or I don't know, something weird like that. So all right, there we go. Everything looks like it's bouncing back pretty nice. Something we want to see. So now I'm going to take off my nozzle and flood everything. And this is going to tell me whether or not we have water spots or we don't. If it floods absolutely dry and no water sticks behind, that's going to tell me that we don't have a water spot. But if it does, if it catches in the same zone every time, it's going to tell us that we have a water spot. So pans looks really clean. You can see he does have a couple water spots over here. You can tell those kind of stay in the same zone every single time. And then we've got HCC here. It's on a flatter part of the hood, but kind of similar. You can tell up in this zone I got water spots. And then we got DIY. And he most definitely has water spots. In fact, you can see kind of in that area right there that they are heavy and built up. Let me see if I can get you a better look. So all in this area here, it's water spots that didn't come off with the soap and water. And that is the only coating out of the 3 so far. Actually, here's one with pans too. It's got a little bit of water spot action going on here and here. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and do water spot removal on the hood. I'm not gonna do the entire truck today. I'm just gonna do the hood. And we'll see, number one, how these coatings hold up to it. and also reset the coating by getting the spots off so we don't continually build on them. So I took Undrdog water spot remover, doing it straight. How I like to do my water spot removal process is I kind of pour it on my towel or my mitt, and I just put it on the surface and let it dwell first. Let the chemical do a lot of the work. That's what it's there for. The chemical is meant to do the heavy lifting. And then once I get it set on there, I come back and I just kind of lightly agitate it back and forth. I don't need to go nuts. I'm not trying to remove anything crazy because, like I said, I'm really just wanting the chemical to do the heavy lifting. And I'm assuming that all these products or these coatings will handle this water spot removal. And if they do, we're in good shape to carry this on. So here we go first. We got HCC. That cleaned up nice. We got clean by pan. No damage there that I can tell right off the bat. Very good to see. And then we got DIY detail, the 8-year coating. All right, so to me, it looks like they're all doing pretty good, but what do we got there? We got a little bit of a dead spot forming right here. So we'll watch that over the next couple weeks and see if it continues to grow. And I almost guarantee you that was from doing the water spot removal. All right, now we're gonna flood it. Everything looks real nice. Everything is sheeting beautifully. Yep, very good, very good. All right, so that's it for this week's update. We will come back in another couple weeks and do a follow-up. My opinions, everything looks really good. Everything is sheeting wonderfully like we wanted to. The water spot removal did not damage the coatings too bad. Looks like we got one little section there where we did pans. He's getting a little bit of damage. And DIY did pretty good here. So, all right, thanks for watching, guys, and we will be back in a couple weeks.